What do we face as challenges? We face the same challenges that I think offline media face, except they're a little more difficult sometimes for us because we are an internet platform and governments like to come after us. We are increasingly have a large red target on our back, and so when people really are looking for a target that will get them lots of people interested, they come to us. What happened in China, I think, is important to see in some perspective. Number one, nobody can tell you what really goes on in China. And if anybody's trying to paint it as a monolithic regime that makes a single decision, if anybody's trying to tell you they know what happened last year or will happen next year, I would basically not pay a great deal of attention to them. You have various trends that you can look at and things that have happened, and when you have actual data, then I think you can begin to draw some conclusions from that. The conclusion that we drew in making our decision about China was fairly simple when it came down to it. It was no longer worth operating there for us because we were undergoing such censorship and such difficulties in operating our service that the costs outweighed the benefits. That was our judgment. In 2006, when we started Google.cn, which was our Chinese domain, we reasoned that we had to do so because Chinese citizens could not get on Google.com, which is the Google that you all in this room use. The government had effectively strangled it. And at that point, we made a decision that it was better to engage the Chinese people in some way than not to engage them at all. And that was really quite a black and white choice that we had to make in an area that's normally full of different shades of gray. But it was clear that we could either go with their regime, which is a regime of self-censorship, or we could have zero access to the Chinese population, internet population, which, as we all know, is now the largest number of users in the entire world. Over time, it became more and more difficult for Google to do that. And I think we experienced what a lot of people who try to report freely on China experience, although we are not reporters. We are a platform for people to express themselves. And that was increasing harassment. It came to a head last year. They shut off YouTube in 2009 in the spring. Over the summer, we experienced two things. One was the so-called Green Dam incident, which I won't go into at any length, but that was an attempt by the Chinese government, a failed attempt, I might add, to insert software into all the PCs and laptops going into China, software that would enable them to, number one, prevent harmful content, their words, from reaching youth, but number two, do anything else they chose to do with those computers. Our office staff was really brought in on the carpet too many times over that summer, and then in December came a massive attack on our infrastructure. All of those things added up together to lead us to make our decision. And we tried to negotiate with the Chinese about this, and our negotiations fell apart. We are hopeful that people under the new system that we've devised will be able to see something of Google. And I have to say that myself, as someone who's long been interested in China, I first went there in 1979 and have been back many, many times, even spoke a little bit of the language once upon a time. It is very distressing to see a country block a source like Google from its population. And the reason it's distressing is because our chief competitor there, Baidu, while excellent at certain things, providing pirated music, for example, does not really open itself up when it comes to providing stories about political topics. According to a study that was done, Google was censored about 25% less than the Baidu searches that you, in searches that you did. And so I am personally unhappy that we have been forced by the circumstances to remove what I think is a really important element for the Chinese. And we know that the Chinese, particularly the intelligentsia, university professors, students, and so forth, were using Google. And we also are pretty sure that the Chinese government uses Google when it really wants to find something out.